So awesome job with 1 and 2 steps, guys. But sometimes there are more than 2 steps, and then we're gonna have to follow a couple more steps. So when we have multi-steps, we're gonna use the acronym "Don't call me after midnight." Okay, so you guys know I go to bed early. Don't call me after midnight. That's not really what it means, but it means that we're gonna distribute first. Okay, and then we're going to combine like terms on both sides. We're going to move the smallest variable to one side, meaning we're going to get all of our x's combined. And then we're going to follow those steps that we already know, which is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So let's look at a couple of examples of that. So number 1, my first step is going to be distribute, but there's nothing here to distribute. There's no parentheses, so we can skip that one for this problem. Then we want to combine like terms, so we want to find anything with the same variable and the same exponent. So we've got 2x terms there, we can combine those. 7x plus 2x is 9x. Minus 5 equals 31. The next one says move the smallest variable to one side. Well, we've only got one variable, so we don't have to worry about that. And from here on out, it's just a 2-step equation. So we're going to do that reversed PEMDAS again. So we're going to do addition and subtraction first, multiplication and division second. So I'm going to get rid of that minus 5 by adding 5. So 9x equals 36. And then we're going to do that second step of multiplication and division. We're multiplying by 9. So we'll divide, and x equals 4. So let's go ahead and jump to one where we are going to use that first step. So let's look at number 5. These other ones are just like that, so you can try them on your own. But number 5, we're going to start with step 1, and we're going to distribute. So I'm going to say 6 times everything in these parentheses. That's our first step. So we've got negative 6x, and then 6 times negative 3 is minus 18, equals 24. So we're going to get those out of the parentheses. Then we are going to combine like terms, but notice we only have one x term, okay, and we only have one variable, so steps 2 and 3 are not going to be useful in this one. We're down to a 2-step equation already. So once we get to a 2-step, remember we just do addition and subtraction. So I add that 18 over, and then we are going to get negative 6x equals 42. And then that second step of multiplication and division, so we're going to get rid of that 6 times x. Remember, there's always multiplication there if they're right next to each other. And we're going to make sure our negatives are correct. And we got x equals negative 7. Okay, so there's one where we have to distribute. Let's see if we can find one where we combine like terms. So let's look at number 7. So we've got 2 distributions going on. So we've got 2 times k is 2k, and 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. Distribute that negative. We're also going to have a negative k and a negative 3 equals 23. So we did our first step, we distributed. Now we have to combine like terms. So we are going to find all of our k terms. So we've got 2k minus k is going to give us k. We've also got some constant terms. So we've got negative 16 and negative 3. If we combine those, it's going to give us a negative 19 equals 23. And now we have a 1-step equation. So we are going to undo that subtraction by adding. And 23 plus 19 is going to give us 42. So that's our answer. Okay. Let's do a couple more, and then we will look at some fractions. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 10. So if you notice, we are multiplying 2/3 by x. So this really is just a 1-step equation, okay, because there's nothing to add or subtract, but we are multiplying by 2/3. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by 2/3. And I know it's easy to freak out when you see a fraction, but this is going to get rid of that, and x is going to be by itself. And if you remember, the way we divide fractions is that keep, change, flip. So remember, keep, change, flip. So we are going to keep the first number. Okay, we are going to change the sign to multiplication, and then we're going to flip our fraction upside down. So we're going to do 3/2, and then it's just a simple problem. So we're going to say x equals 10 times 3, which is 30, divided by that 2, which is 15. Okay, so if we've got a fraction by itself, we're going to do keep, change, flip. Number 11 is a little different though. If we have that bar, that fraction bar going all the way across, remember it's like the top is trapped. Okay, so this is just like those two-steppers we did earlier. We're just going to have to get that top part out of the box by undoing that division. So we're going to multiply by 8. We're going to get -24. And we are going to subtract 11 on both sides. And I think we did this one in the last video. We get x equals -35. The last part of this video is fractions, and we've already talked about how to do this, but I want to refresh your brain because this is always tricky for a lot of people. So remember that we're always going to be dividing by the denominator, and we're always going to be multiplying by the numerator. It does not matter which order you do it, as long as the bottom is being divided, the top is being multiplied. So for this one over here, we could do 3 times 12, which is 36, and then divide by the bottom of 4 and get 9. Okay, we could also switch it up and divide first. So we could say 12 divided by 4 equals 3 times the numerator of 3, which is 9. So either way you do that, it's going to give you the same answer, whatever you're comfortable with. So let's do the first one. We're going to multiply by the top and then divide. So if we distribute, we're going to do 1 times 3x is 3x, divided by 3 is just x. 1 times -9 is -9, divided by 3 is -3, equals 12. And then we've got a one-step equation. We're going to get rid of that subtraction by adding on both sides, and we get x equals 15. Okay, the next one, this is the last one we're going to do. You can try the rest on your own, but we're going to try dividing first. So on the big ones, it might be helpful to divide first. So I'm going to say 15x divided by 5 gives me 3x times 1 keeps us with 3x. -20 divided by 5 is going to be -4 times the numerator of 1 is still -4. And then we've got that plus 4 equals -15. Okay, we distributed. Now we need to combine like terms. So we're going to combine those. So we've got 3x equals -4 plus 4 is just 0. So 3x equals -15. And now we're to a one-step equation. We're going to divide by 3 to get x by itself. And x equals -5.